people. Though he can laugh his guts out just as good as the rest of us.
I know.
When he's potent.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome back to the Lofgranigans podcast. Today we have my dad on here. It's going to be a good one. Let's play the theme music. So, having my dad on, I think we're going to have some kind of insight on why we are the way that we are as Lofgrens, and kind of see how
it originated
and where all of our shenanigans came from, maybe.
Indeed.
Yeah. Dad, tell us a story about when you were a kid. What, like, some things, I don't know, we talk a lot about gas talk and about, just boy things.
All the goofing around that goes on with the many bros in the family.
Yeah. Well, how are you and Randy? So me and Micah's dads are twins.
It completely depended upon the situation.
Uh-huh.
Because in proper company, we were very Victorian.
Well, your mom's...
You mean in Grandma's company?
or Kimberly's company, or
yeah.
girls. It's not a subject that was discussed, and you were very proper and behaved. But when I was a kid, we had a cousin, and his name was Derek. And
he's a legend in our family.
With Derek, we had a custom. Anytime you farted, everybody would rush and you'd knock on wood, and you'd say, "Knock on wood!" And the last person to knock on wood supposedly ate it.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And whenever anybody farted, everybody rushed to knock on the wood so that they didn't have to eat it. Well, one day, I can't remember who it was, but somebody ripped one, and we rushed to knock on wood, and I think Randy was the last one to knock on wood, and so Derek said, "Well, what did it taste like?" And Randy said, "Definitely fudge." And so, definitely fudge became the answer for everything. We stopped knocking on wood. We just said, "What did it taste like?" "Definitely fudge."
Oh, golly.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say my younger brother Colin he's picked up a new habit. Every time he farts, he'll kind of grab down there as if he's like snatching the fumes, and he'll toss it towards me, and you wouldn't believe it, but it actually works so well.
As a missionary, one time we were traveling over the top of the Andes Mountains in a car, and one of the missionaries had bad gas. Not just
as missionaries do,
but it was vile, and he knew to be silent about it, and he'd do that same thing. He'd fart into his hand, and I was driving, and then he'd come stick it right on my nose. I couldn't go anywhere because I was driving the car. I was like, "Oh, God!" Roll down the windows. He tortured us for hours. His name was Carter, Elder Carter, from the Peru Trujillo mission. I hope someday he gets his reward.
Or come back around and bite him in the butt.
Or here's this story so he can laugh at me the whole way. But back to Derek, it got kind of crazy, and we used to sleep over at his house in his bedroom, and so one night we got down there, and the air got greener and greener and greener, and all of a sudden we hear a knock on the door, and it was Aunt Gloria, his mother. And she wasn't the kind and understanding soul, she was pretty hardline strict, and she opened the door to tell us something, and she opens the door and she kind of shakes her head a little bit, tremors. She goes, "Did you guys take your shoes off in here? This really stinks." Well, our shoes weren't in there. It did really stink.
I remember Mom and Tiffy both doing that. They'd come in and, they just kind of like, huh, and like flinch. You can see them like physically twitch and be like, should we open a window? It's a little musky.
That was like their passive aggressive way of saying, it stinks in here. I better open a window.
And, like, you don't notice it while you're in there, but you run to the bathroom and you walk back, and it's physically, you feel the air just hit you, and you're like, it burns your eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
So Scott, I'm sure it's weird having a twin, an identical twin who's exactly like you, you know? Like, we boys experience that to some degree, where like there's a whole bunch of guys our age who we're so alike, but you got the real deal.
Yeah.
So like, what was that like for you? Did you ever get like really, really pissed off at my dad?
No, I didn't very often get pissed off at your dad, but your dad would get pissed off at me. He used to say that no one in the world could make him madder than I could. And one day, I don't remember what happened, but I did something to him, and I didn't see him do this, but he walked back into his apartment and he punched a hole through the wall because he was so frustrated at whatever I did to him. I have no recollection what it was. I just know that.
Sure.
I don't know. I picked up the bad trait when I was very young, that when somebody made me mad or made me sad or whatever, I just became stone. And no emotion, wouldn't show it, wouldn't let anybody know. And I could do that. And then, everybody else, your dad was always much more empathetic and kind, and I was much more the stone. And so I would make him mad.
Interesting.
I would make him mad.
Did you ever, as a twin, it was always my dream for me and Michael look similar enough that I always felt like we could probably, switch classes in school, or, I don't know, when I was a kid, I would always think that we could probably trick our moms into thinking we were each other and, take us home to the other family. Did you ever, try to pull... Did you ever pull something on Grandma? Grandma's a legend on this podcast.
No, we were never able to pull anything over on Grandma. Well, yeah, when we were younger, there were times when Grandma would get us mixed up, but it was probably more just one of those things when you're frustrated and you're trying to say your child's name. Reed! Scott! No, Randy! Yeah, you're Randy! I know you're Randy! I think, no, yeah, you're one of them. Just anyway, sit down and be quiet. So, Grandma made
I've been called all of my siblings' names a stunning amounts of times.
Yeah, well, that happened around the house, but I don't think that we could very often trick my mom. She may have made a mistake, but the funny one was once... I hadn't been married for very long.
Oh, no.
And, of course, Randy and I look really similar. And Randy was standing in the kitchen up to the kitchen bar with his back to me and everybody in the room. And Kimberly walked in the room and she didn't see me over on the other side. She just saw him, and she walked right up towards him. And I watched as her hand went right down... And seriously, was about an inch away from grabbing his buttocks and giving it a pinch.
Oh boy.
And he spoke. And I've never seen Kimberly's hand move so fast away from him. She got saved just in the last minute.
That would have been mortifying.
Well, I would have laughed my guts out. But
that's funny.
When we were young, we used to switch classes on our teachers. So a lot of the students could tell us apart, but the teachers had no ability to tell us apart. They couldn't tell us apart. They knew us because we were on their class list, so they would say Scott or Randy because that's who was supposed to be in the class. They knew we were twins. They knew that Scott was supposed to be in the class. So just for kicks, a couple of times... We switched classes. I went to his class, he went to my class. We went in, sat down, just started doing our homework. Well, a couple of the students, what are you doing? and these were kids that we knew but weren't, real particularly friends. So they started to rat us out and tell them, "Hey, this isn't Scott, this is Randy." I think the same thing went on in his class. "Teacher, Mr. Trappett, this isn't Scott, this isn't Randy, this is Scott." I said, "I'm not either Scott, I'm Randy." And the teacher looks over and he looks at me. And he didn't dare ask me who he was, who I was. He didn't dare because, that would have been such a terrible thing that the teacher didn't know my name. So he didn't dare ask me, and I said, I'm Randy.
How old were you?
Oh, this was 6th or 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I wouldn't think of 6th graders as the tattletale age.
Yeah.
That's the age where like tattletales are the scum of the earth.
Well, these were the tattletale types. So they tried their very hardest to get us in trouble, but the teacher could not tell, so he couldn't make a judgment. And I just denied and said, "I am not." And they, but he couldn't ask me to leave or go change because he really had no idea who I was.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
But it also went bad on you sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
One time when I was about 23 years old, I met this girl. I was fairly interested in her and took her on a few dates, and I thought, oh, this will be really funny to pull a trick on her. So I said, "Randy, this is her apartment. She's up 3 floors. Go get her. Go to the door, knock on her. This is what she looks like. Bring her down, and I'll just be sitting at the bottom of the stairs waiting." So he walked up, knocked on her door. She came out. It wasn't any kind of friendly enough relationship to hold hands or anything, but they came walking down together. And she got to the bottom of the stairs, and there I was waiting. And she looked at me, and she looked at him, and she did about 3 double takes. And then she says, "I thought there was something different." That's all. But whatever that different thing was, it was pretty bad because that night she asked Randy to take her out and told her she didn't want to date me anymore.
Oh, no.
So,
She told you that?
She told Randy that.
Oh, wow.
She said, "I don't want to date Scott anymore. I want to date you." Ouch!
It's
I
okay.
won't do that again.
Because you won the marriage race by about 4 years.
Yeah.
I did win the marriage race. I got married 4 years earlier. So.
Oh, that's funny.
I've heard a couple stories where like people will go up to mom and be like, "Hey, I saw your husband with another woman."
Yeah, when we were first at BYU, in Springville, right after we got married, we lived in Springville, and Randy was living in Springville as well because he was going to BYU and working in the same company as I was. And so one day, the bishop pulled Kimberly aside and said, "I don't know how to tell you this, but I saw your husband with another woman." And he was dead serious. He thought he was saving her because he had seen Randy, and we were so identical that he had no idea.
Yeah,
and so,
even to this day, there's been times where I can't tell you apart. Only one time, actually, ever in my life, but still.
Yeah, so he thought he was saving her from a terrible guy, and pulled her aside and warned her. And of course, she cleared that up. Thank goodness she didn't get me in trouble. But
I'm sure. I would have to wonder if her heart kind of dropped for a second, and then she was like, "Wait, my husband has a twin."
Yeah, that's gotta blindside you. I don't care if you have 4 twins. Like that's gotta blindside.
Yeah, I would imagine you're probably right. But no matter what that first instinct, it probably was a little bit of a panic.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's been fun being a twin. Mm-hmm. It provides its challenges, but 98% of the time it's great.
So if you could untwin Randy and just make him 2 years older or younger, would you?
No, I wouldn't. I'd keep him my twin. Twins are funny. They either just love each other to death and you're the greatest companions, or they don't want to be at all like each other and they don't like each other.
That's what I hear.
And we liked each other. And we were best friends. There was about a year time period at school where we kind of scheduled our own classes away from each other and moved into different apartment complexes. Just kind of tried to go live our own life and do our own thing, but we weren't unfriendly. It's just we wanted to kind of be off on our own.
Yeah.
And then we married sisters, and it's been tied ever since.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we got a good deal with it.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
I mean, we were never more than an hour apart from your family. That was always a hoot.
Not only were my children and his children genetically similar, but the interests and location was always so close that it was kind of like one big family instead of two families.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And still is that way today.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know you guys were pretty terribly mischievous when you were young. I hear many stories. I was hoping maybe you could tell us the one about the special popsicle that you brought to school at one point.
It's been so long since I've heard this story.
I forgot about that story.
Yeah, maybe we should have asked before we started the podcast.
Maybe,
Is there any stories we don't want to talk about? No, well...
Okay, I was in first or second grade, so you gotta recognize the
And
time period.
by first or second, he means junior or senior year.
No, this was seriously first or second grade. So, I hate to even admit this, but there was a little girl, and she was just very bratty and mean, and I don't know what it was. She just was really mean, and nobody liked her. And one day I decided that we'd make a pea-sicle and take it to her. So I peed in an orange juice cup and left it outside, and it froze overnight with a popsicle stick in it.
I was just thinking, what if Grandma would have found that in the freezer? She would have been mortified.
It was outside. So on my way to school, I stepped aside and popped the pea-sicle out of the orange juice can and shoved it into my coat pocket. And then boarded the bus for our daily hour bus drive.
And you saw nothing wrong with this.
I was 6 or 7. I see a lot wrong with it now. But anyway, we got to the school, and I dropped my hand into my coat pocket to pull out the pea-sicle, and there was no pea-sicle. There was just a popsicle stick and a very wet coat. And I can't imagine what it smelled like all day. It just melted right there in my pocket. But
oh, jeez.
That was one of those cases where I got what I deserved. I absolutely got what I deserved.
Well, I must say I'm very grateful that a poor little 6-year-old girl didn't end up licking that popsicle thinking you were just being friendly.
Oh, me too. That's giving me nightmares to think about.
Me and Mike have definitely harassed our bullies throughout the years.
Yeah, weights class was fun.
Weights class. There's this one kid named
class.
There's this kid named Drake who would just he was just awful. We both hated. I don't even know if he was bad, but he was annoying. But what did we do? So many things.
Oh, I remember getting the little plastic spoons and we'd put pebbles in there, and we'd kind of peek around the hole, and we'd flick these pebbles at him out of a bendable spoon. And I remember one time we flick one at him, and all of a sudden we hear him shout, and he just comes just running down this hallway, and he goes, "Who did that? What, you guys throwing stuff?" And we just kind of sit there nonchalantly, and we're like, "What?" And so we can't do anything because the two of us are there backing each other up like, "What are you talking about?" And so he just walks back inside, probably feeling stupid.
And then we'd be playing dodgeball or whatever, and we're done putting balls away and stuff, and they're like the rubber balls, not the little foam balls. They were the rubber balls they used for like kickball and stuff. And we just like blindside him right in the face, and then be like, "Huh? What?" And like, I feel bad about it now, but he was pretty awful.
Well, we always went after the guys who were bigger than us.
Yeah.
And we were kind of kind of the cocky, arrogant type. And,
Yeah,
so.
I had lots of personal battles. I hated bullies. I just hated bullies. But I was always small, so you had to defend yourself in
You got to get numbers.
Right.
me and Mike
in
against
tricky
one big
ways.
kid. Yeah.
So, oh.
Well, Scott, Jared and I went through somewhat of a mischievous stage in high school, and I would always tell my dad. I'd tell my dad about our little adventures, and I wouldn't tell my mom, of course, because my mom wasn't as supportive of such behaviors. But my dad usually just said, "Don't get caught." And so I have to ask, how much are you aware of like little mischievous incidents Jared and I had in high school?
Well, I remember as you were about to go on your mission, you all got hauled in by the police for running across the top of the high school roof and jumping. And were you what's that jumping stuff called?
Parkour.
Were you parkouring on the roof of the high school?
Yep.
And I get a phone call. Could you come down here? This is Officer So-and-so, and I have all of your sons. And I remember going down. Unfortunately, I was laughing more than I was.
We wouldn't have known it.
Well, I couldn't go up to the officer and say, "Oh, come on there, kid." But, you got to take all things into perspective.
Right.
Parkour on the high school roof's a heck of a lot better than drugs and alcohol and many other things. And besides, that was my nature too.
Mm-hmm.
That was my nature. It's just.
And I remember there were little to no repercussions.
Yeah. Yeah, the cops didn't have much to say.
Yeah.
I remember once in high school, and I think it's just a mentality. It's just a kind of type of personality. But Randy and I had gone to the gas station and we bought 2 16-ounce glass bottles of soda pop apiece.
I remember this.
And we were
story.
driving down the road. I had my window down. We're living in Georgia, just out of high school, seniors in high school, driving down the road, and I see a mailbox. And without even thinking, without pre-contemplation, nothing, I just hucked my bottle of soda pop at this mailbox.
And I'll have you know, my dad played baseball all through school.
And we were going 45, 50 miles an hour down the road, and it was a perfect hit. Perfect hit. So this glass bottle hits this mailbox and just explodes, and the mailbox just crumples in on itself. And I just fell over in my chair in hysterical laughter. I am laughing my guts out. That was the funniest thing I had ever done. And Randy was sitting over there. "What do you think you're doing? I can't believe you did that." And he drove off as fast as he could. And I'm just laughing my guts out about this spur of the moment decision. Well, I got home and I got thinking about it, and I thought that was really pretty stupid and awful. So I got back in the car and I drove over to try and find the mailbox so that I could replace the mailbox and confess to him what I had done. And they had already replaced it, and I could not pick out the house. Because it had just been a spur of the moment, without thinking, did it. And then I fell on the floor laughing hysterically. I never even looked at the house. I never saw the cars in the driveway. So I did things like that, and then I'd feel guilty and go try to repent.
I mean, we had 3 podcasts that we had to delete because the audio didn't work. So I'm trying to remember. Did we tell the story about us car vomiting on people?
I think we did.
On those podcasts, or was that?
Tell the story.
I don't think it was on that podcast.
I've never heard this one. Let's hear it.
Well, Do you remember as a kid, I would like chew stuff up and spit it in the toilet and be like, "Mom, I threw up. I don't want to go to school."
Yeah.
That carried over into my teenage years.
Well, first off, did you know what was going on there?
No, at
Were
the
you
time,
fooled?
no, we were fooled.
Dad,
that's
you
funny.
were always like, "You're going to school."
Well, after a while, yeah, I got, no, Jared,
4
you're
days
going to
in a-
school. But then, when bloody vomitous saltine crackers and ketchup turned up in the toilet, I don't like vomit. I didn't go in and inspect it very carefully. I just, oh, yeah, he's throwing up. Oh,
Yeah.
get out of here before I smell this. So, yeah, at that point, I wasn't inspecting, so I said, okay, go get back in your bed.
So, when we were in high school, we would, we'd be driving around with Caleb. He was the only one with a license or whatever. But we'd get these snacks at these gas stations. And once we were tired of the snacks, we would just drive around and we'd pull up to stoplights and briskly roll down the windows and then just like, bleh, and just like spit all of our snacks out onto the floor. And just like watch people in horror as we just dribble down the car.
Did you get their cars?
Probably sometimes. Usually it was dribbling down our cars, unfortunately. But
Oh, it was great
it was
seeing
a
their
good time,
faces.
yeah.
Fake vomits, huh?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about our adventures in the plumbing tunnels under the school?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that was a
Good
fun
times.
time.
We
We ditched out on an assembly one time and went into the closet in the choir room and climbed down into the plumbing tunnels and explored. Poked our heads out in the band room.
tipped over the dude's guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, those kind of things are just part of a boy's life.
Yeah.
And it's harmless.
It is. It's harmless. I don't think there's anything wrong with, well, there's a problem with crushing somebody's mailbox. But exploring tunnels and parkouring on the roof, as long as you don't get hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we had it coming. We went at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was broad daylight.
The thing is, we'd done it so many times that we were just getting cocky.
Uh-huh.
We were like, we'll never get caught. And if we do see the police pull up, we'll run to the other side and hop off the other side of the building.
Yeah.
And
We did.
of course, that's not what we did. Plus, we kind of parked our car right where
Yeah.
we parked our car where we could hop right up on to the roof
Yeah.
from the car.
So you see a giant
blew our cover.
15-passenger van hanging out into the road.
Yeah, you guys remember the 15-passenger van in California after the beach?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We humiliated Grandma to no end.
I don't remember this.
We went to the beach and we all got salty and sandy.
Mm.
So we all went to the showers and showered off and changed, but we had all the wet, soggy shoes and socks and underwear and everything else. So to try and dry them off, we just hung them out the window and shut the window. So we're driving down the street, and there's socks and underwear and pants and shirts just hanging from every window on the 15-passenger van. And Grandma was up in the front seat, and she just kept ducking lower and lower and lower, and then she got a magazine or a newspaper. I can't remember what it was, but she put it right up close to her face so nobody could see her.
Well, I remember
That's
people
funny.
were like filming us and like laughing at us as we went by, and we're like, "Hey,
Well,
we're
I can't
obviously
imagine
not
what
from
they're
here."
thinking.
Well, taking
As they
pictures
see-
of these Idaho hillbillies. Were drying their clothes as they drove down the street. Everybody's underwear tucked into the window, shut tight. So,
Poor Grandma.
That probably put the nature of that van into great question.
yeah. I do remember people taking pictures out their windows
Oh yeah.
of the van. Thinking that was pretty hilarious, but
Gotta do what you gotta do.
well, when there's 16 people in a 15-passenger van, you don't have a lot of space. All the way to California and back.
Oh,
Pretty
jeez.
tight. It was pretty tight.
And half the back of the van was just filled in M&Ms. Do you remember that? We had like 16 bags of those family-sized M&M packs.
I remember that as we got started, I went into the grocery store to grab something, and all of the Easter candy was on sale.
Mm-hmm.
So they had this whole big shelf of M&Ms, and I love M&Ms. And I knew if I only bought a bag or two, I wouldn't get enough. So I bought 60 bags of M&Ms, peanut
Good
M&Ms.
gracious.
We bought 60 bags of them at $1.50 a piece or something like that.
And these aren't like these aren't like the bags. These are like the chip-sized bags that are like resealable, you know? Like, and I think we went through, if I remember right, we ate like 15 out of the 60 bags at that trip or something.
We ate a lot of M&Ms. We ate a lot of M&Ms on that trip.
Good time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
That was, I think we already told this story on the podcast, but that was the same trip where we lost Aaron, or thought we lost Aaron in Mexico,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
Was that also the same trip that we thought Aaron got washed away by the wave?
I don't remember that.
Poor Aaron. Remember, it was me and Aaron up on this rock.
Oh,
and
yeah, you guys did get knocked right off that rock.
The tide was coming in, and it's just this giant wave just smashed me and Aaron, and we're like out on this pier in the ocean, and just smoked us. And I was holding on, but I felt Aaron just leave. Like, Aaron was gone, and I was like, well, he's shark food. Like, what do you do? And, but he did get knocked all the way off the rocks, and he was, like, scraped up. He still has scars to this day.
Daggum.
Did you get
poor
scraped
Aaron.
up, too? Or
No, I was able to hold on to the rock, yeah. But
Yeah,
Aaron got smoked.
We all got just blasted. That
Yeah.
was insane. That was a sketchy beach.
That was.
And I remember
But it
Shiloh
wasn't a
was...
sketchy beach that you guys were out on that rock point with huge waves coming.
We all weighed 15 pounds.
Yeah, maybe it was sketchy behavior.
That's what it was, sketchy behavior.
Do you remember Shiloh running along so the water level was just matching the reef. And so Shiloh's running on this reef, and there's just this hole. This like 3-foot hole in the reef. And you can't see it because it's just barely disguised under the water, and he just sinks right in there.
I don't remember seeing that, but I don't doubt it.
Oh, it
It's
was
frankly
mean.
incredible that we all survived that trip.
Oh, it is. It is. That's incredible that you guys have made it through your teenage years. So.
Yeah.
Without a broken bone, too. Most of us.
Yeah. Aaron broke his finger playing football. But
And I broke my
That's
toe,
right.
but that was just recently.
yeah, somehow
I
made
guess-
it through.
Colin fractured his arm. You guys know this story?
No, what's
Oh,
that
Caleb
story?
and Colin were wrestling on the top bunk of a bed, and Colin went off the side, and Caleb came right on top of him. And,
Wait, when was
landed
this?
right on Colin and fractured his arm.
When was that?
I was back living in Springville. He was probably like no older than 6 or 7.
Jeez. I didn't
Caleb
know.
was probably a good bit bigger than him.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Aaron? Aaron used to always sleep on the top bunk, and he'd roll off in the night and sleep through it.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, we'd hear a thump and go down there, and there he was on the floor, off the top bunk, just laying there. No problem. We moved you up to the top bunk because he kept doing it.
Well, I remember there was a time there when it we all had our own rooms, but we would all sleep up in Aaron's room because probably we were scared. But I'd just be sleeping there, and then Aaron just like whap right next to me, and I'd be like, "Ah!" And he's just fast asleep. This is terrifying. Terrifying.
Do you remember the biting matches between Colin and Aaron?
Oh, I remember they used to bite each other horribly.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you and Micah may have had a few yourself, but I
Really?
remember seeing bloody, not blood, but blood blisters on each other's backs where they
Yeah.
bite each other
Holy
hard
cow.
enough that it would hit.
Aaron had a thing with biting. He got in biting matches with quite a few people. One time when me and Micah were kids, we went on a date. Do you remember this? I dressed
I'm
up
not
as
sure.
a girl.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I am not familiar with this.
Yeah,
I mean, I do remember many times where Rory dressed
dressed
us
all
up
as
as
girls.
girls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Against her dad's will, but she did it anyway.
Yeah, what do you
She
do?
do it while I was gone. Then I just see pictures of y'all come home and y'all wearing your princess dresses.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, time for some football.
Exactly. Somebody go get the ball and get out of those things.
Yeah.
So where'd you go on your date?
Oh, just in the green room. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, you were younger.
Oh yeah, we were like 4 or 5. This was in the White House. Yeah.
That eases my heart.
Dressed up as a
Oh, we
girl.
go on plenty of bro dates now.
Yeah.
You just tack on the word bro. and
You would
it's
not
cool
believe
now.
how many times it's just me and Mike and the whole theater. It's just us two. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just remember dressing up as a kid, and then the moms, like, we heard the moms coming, so I, like, hid behind the couch. They were like, "Where's Jared?" And I was, like, dressed as a chick behind the couch.
That had to
Problem
have
is
been
your moms
Rory's
loved
idea.
it. They thought that was great.
Yeah, probably.
Ran for the cameras as fast as they
Yeah.
could get them.
Yeah.
They thought that was great.
It's a good time. Well, we're about out of time. We should probably close it up. But thanks so much for joining us, Dad. It's been super fun.
Well, thank you. I've loved it.
Good.
What a fun thing to sit back and remember.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Some of those things about childhood and when you guys were young.
Yeah, and where we came from.
Yeah.
We'll have to
It
get
starts
you
to make
and
more
my
sense.
dad on sometime.
Yeah, and then I
Both
think we should
twins.
tell the legendary Jemima story.
Then we can tell the legendary Jemima story and a few other legendary stories
Oh,
that maybe
boy.
should not be told, but we will anyway.
Sounds like a
Sounds
plan.
good.
Alrighty, thanks guys so much for listening. We have a YouTube and an Instagram and a TikTok. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to our Spotify thing. Not subscribe. You can rate us now, so that's cool. Okay, love you. Bye.